Hello world, I'm Max. Welcome to another episode of the Stay Copy Podcast. As always, I'll remind you that this content is meant to be consumed in series from the beginning. See episode 0 and each segment appended for all applicable terms and disclosures. Appended segments can be identified by their title prefix, scp.0. Thank you.
Hey, good morning. It's a beautiful day. Feel great. Plenty of sleep. A little extra even than usual. I got up too early at 5 and decided to take a quarter dose of NyQuil. And it bought me an extra 2.5 hours of REM, which is brilliant. I feel great. Still no THC. A little bit of alcohol yesterday. Me and my girlfriend went to a fun night spot, and we split a glass of wine. I got a beer. Went to a bar, and it's funny how much my attitude has changed in just a year. 2 years, well, especially in the last 3 years. But a thing that might have seemed fun and exciting to me is interest. I like the energy of going to in a city with a real where the popular night spot is, where the night gets started at 11 o'clock and the DJs show up at 12 and all that. That was never really my scene before. But hanging out at the bar till about, 10 and drinking way too much was definitely a part of my 20s and mid-30s. And now it's just gone. We went to a bar. It was kind of standing room only, kind of halfway between a dive and a night, whatever the popular nightclub is. And it was probably 8 o'clock on a Saturday night. So night's just getting started. Morning. And I bought a Dos Equis in a bottle. My girlfriend doesn't drink. She didn't get anything. And it was $9 right now, which was after tip and tax. That seems, I don't know how people can afford to do that right now. And I think I drank the first third of it and just set it down, and we left and went home. Made tea and watched The Fugitive. She's never seen a lot of the classic American movies, so what we'll do for fun sometimes, I'm not really into movies anymore, so I don't know and I feel like we're kind of in the dark ages for movie production right now. So I'll go back and I'll try and remember something that was a really quality movie that was universally loved, and it is just a great story. And 1992, The Fugitive popped into my head last night. She loved it. And I recently figured out how to generate my own subtitles, so that'll unlock a whole bunch of other movies. I got OpenAI Whisper working finally, and man, that thing is an incredible piece of software. Hey, good morning. So unfortunately it doesn't have the ability to just read in video and spit out a Chinese SRT, but I believe I can take English SRT and just plug it into Google Translate and it spit out all the dialogue. I'm just hoping it doesn't screw up the timestamps. I'm gonna have to play with that some, but that unlocks a whole bunch of movies we haven't been able to watch yet, so that'll be fun. And but mid-40s idea of a great Saturday night versus mid-30s. Saturday night it's a substantial shift. I get a kick out of reflecting on. I did a capture I really liked yesterday. It was like 3.5 minutes. I was just taking notes for today's, and oh boy. I didn't probably close out that thought. I'm getting distracted by it. We left at 8:30, got home by 9, watched The Fugitive, and had tea. And that's when I started having a really good time. Dinner was fun, but the bar scene, walking around it, I could tell my... good morning. My girlfriend was really excited to just be out and doing stuff, and she's actually a few years older than I am. She loved it. She had a great time. I think she was ready to dance and stuff, and I was not really willing to sit around for 3 hours watching people drink for that to get started. And she was a good sport, but she wants me to take her back today and have lunch. It was so much fun. So it's cool seeing her have such a good time with that. And then she stayed up almost till midnight watching the end of the movie. Usually we're kind of bed by 10. So fun Saturday night. Okay, so on to my capture I did yesterday, that 3.5 minutes or so. Relativity, theory of relativity, for consciousness, and training consciousness. So something that's really never occurred to me, I don't think, or I've never really explored, is the very important impact all the other agents in the human collective consciousness had on training up my neural net. You kind of know what that is on the surface, but you don't realize how, at the foundational level, how important it is. How, an infant is just a clean slate that is base human OS, can breathe, can suckle, can sleep, can run all their biological processes to stay alive, and that's about it. And the idea that all the other nodes that we run into from the time we're really young are fucking critical to our sanity, our happiness, and this is a really great insight into a lot of our hang-ups and a lot of our, a lot of what Stoicism is teaching you how to do is how to sort of wrestle back control of perspective, and in healthy ways, so that you're not valuing other nodes' opinion of self over your own opinion of yourself, or listening and being just ripped up and torn apart by outside critique of self, and so eager to please. But it very much makes sense that we operate that way, because when you think about it, from the time we're infants, when we build our framework and we teach our brains how to paint reality in our minds, and psychedelics show you that's and I point that out in yesterday's capture, that you get to see vividly and soberly that's sort of what's happening. And so once you have that understanding, you can do all these other meaningful abstractions. And it's interesting to note that my theory of relativity for consciousness is that like time and space, there's a theory of relativity for our consciousness. The example I used in that tiny capture was the sky's blue. So we build up all of these interpretations of the sensory data we're getting, and then we test them over and over and over and over and over again. And then eventually we kind of, I really see it as like frequency modulation. You're sort of, our neural nets, our minds are going, okay, I look at the sky, I observe it, and as an infant, I can witness it in sort of like, you can see that the sky is blue, but you're an infant. You don't know what color is. You don't know the definition of color. You don't know how to verbalize the entire conversation. And what we do as infants is to, like, that sort of day one human just popped out to, let's say, 2 years old. You're building all of the foundational shit. You're building all the, well, you know, basic things, temperature, touch, fine motor control, all of these things. And just like full self-drive is learning how to handle an unprotected left turn, you're sort of training your model how to even frame an understanding of all the sensory data you're getting. Now, maybe one of our most vital tools for doing that effectively is the signal we get from our parents, our friends, our teachers, all of the other human nodes in the human collective consciousness that we're getting signal from. So they teach us the concept of, and they teach us the terms to use to describe them. And then you're building sort of this foundation from the ground up of a consciousness. And so my example in that capture yesterday was, what if I had I guess from a young age, everything was the same in my understanding of how the universe works, except for when I looked at the sky, it looked yellow or green. And everyone else in when I talked to my father or mother, we could agree that this table is flat. It's hard. It's cool, not hot. Its color is brown, the kitchen table. But then when we look at the sky and we build this shared fabric of understanding of how to model it all out, my parents told me, no, the sky's not blue, it's yellow. Well, I would tend to, so internally what's happening, like your mind is modeling reality, and it's going, okay, well, based on these things, all the other nodes signaled sort of perception of, I have to question whether, they're right and I'm wrong. Like, we're doing that with everything, right? So, I mean, your very foundation of how reality, the simulation that you're writing in, that your mind is creating, is super vital. The signal you get from all the other nodes on the network. It's like one of the most important things about the nature of reality is what we get from the signal we get from like entities that have the same hardware for processing and the same base operating system. And then we do this comparison, and we're doing that from the time we're infants all the way up. So that means a core requirement for sanity, healthy thought, and a growth of intellect is our network and the signal we get from other humans. And how we perceive reality is all relative to that signal. And it's layers upon layers upon layers of understanding of everything. So, I mean, this points to why we have a vital need for connection with other humans. It's and if you lock somebody in solitary for a couple years, they'll probably go mad because they lose that signal. They're just a buoy floating around in an ocean of perception, and they're not getting any signal to confirm or deny sensory input. Now that speaks to I've talked before about how all humans, even the ones you really don't like, are just a different instantiation of you. And when you compare them to like a tree or even a dog or a dolphin, a human is any other human, even the one you admire the most and the one you loathe, is basically just you. with a different training set of training heuristics and sort of base variables. So and not only are they very, very close to what you are, they're also a critical component of your sanity and your intellect and all of your ability to model the universe, survive and thrive. It's absolutely critical that you have deep connection to all the other nodes around you. That in itself, if you can model out that understanding and accept it as undeniable fact of how your mind works and what the universe is, you can really appreciate all the other nodes, be they the ones, like I said, you admire the most or you can't stand, because they're all giving you very important signals for how to interpret all reality and process it. I'm going to say it's as important as food and water and air that is our network. Maybe even more so, because you can't learn to ensure that you have food, air, water. You can't take care of any of Maslow's hierarchy of needs on your own as an individual agent without any other nodes. Without them, you're lost. And it's more than just how a mother feeds her child, or historically, like recently, the dynamics of gender has changed a lot. But historically, in the Neanderthal and the caveman days, the male would go out, get the food, bring it home, protect the women and children, and then we'd do this in sort of a unit. And then that grew and grew and grew, and then farming, and then nation states, and all of it. Other nodes are not just a very, very fucking critical thing. That they're doing is they're helping you establish a baseline for reality, and sanity is fully dependent on that feedback you're getting from the network. And it's really important to think about this. I think it's very useful for us to think about how to train up AGI. I think an unlock in AGI capability, maybe this already happens, I don't know, would be creating a whole bunch of agents, spawning a whole bunch of agents, and then having them try different ways to interpret things and then reach consensus of understanding. And that's how you build a collective consciousness of our AGI. Our heredity, there's a perfect map for how to build really exponentially, like as we spawn our children in AGI. There's a perfect model for how to do this right that nature has provided, that if we study how we work and we emulate it as closely as possible and we retain as much of it as possible, it can benefit from that, right? Morning. So, in the context of AGI development, super vital. In the context of understanding yourself, super vital. There's a whole bunch of things that immediately snap into focus and make sense when you realize the significance and the value and of the network that exists between you and all other humans. You can immediately make adjustments in your perceptions that are super healthy. You can realize that even the thieves and scammers and the murderers and the worst fucking people, the Stalins, and then the best people, all of them are just different instantiations of exactly you. And we're in this randomizer, and we use all of the good actors and the bad actors for the collective to understand itself. It means you don't have to focus. I watch crypto, and I've done a few captures in the last few days, where I'm talking about how the crypto community, its obsession right now with Sam Bankman-Fried, and how it's just a total waste of all of our time. And it just, like, I understand what it is, and I understand why we obsess in this way, but the best thing you could possibly do is say, thank you, Sam, for attacking this market. If it wasn't you, it was going to be somebody else. I pity you. I hope you can learn from this in positive ways and move forward and just sort of learn how to either be more competent or moral, or all those things. But that's his journey. All of us obsessing over how he will be punished and thinking that has anything to frickin' do with net outcomes for ourselves is it's wrong. It's if I could, you need bad actors, to create resilience. It's like the markets have immune systems. They set up incentives for bad actors to attack, and then they build antibodies that prevent attacks on that vector. And this is just a fundamental property of the universe. And when we focus all this time on obsessing over, how like an attacker will be punished and how they want to, how the entire thing will be litigated, we're all just wasting our time and emotion. And I'm not saying we should be gullible or naive and think, oh, well, if he apologizes and says he's learned his lesson, he can go back to work and we should all trust him. No. We've built antibodies. We know, okay, probably can't trust that guy. Hope he can figure stuff out. But even if he says he's figured it out, he's already established he's not very trustworthy. And there's no way we can ever determine whether he's overcome that personal hurdle. So, unfortunately, you had your shot, dude. It means you can never do that thing you tried to do again. And the market has learned you've taught the markets a whole bunch of really valuable lessons about how to prevent other people from doing what you did. So, I don't know, that whole framework of understanding allows you to just not spend any time in useless negative emotion that does nothing for you. It hurts you. It fills you with toxicity of thought, and it uses up all of your compute and morning. You end up wallowing in, like I said, negative emotion, and you're wasting all these compute cycles of your own mind on how will he be punished? How do we, and thinking that somehow we can regulate and prevent, like that we're going to be able to create some sort of regulatory framework that'll prevent bad actors from exploiting vulnerabilities in markets that's naive. That is us being arrogant in our capability, and what our history proves time and time and time again is we suck at that. We cannot do that. When we create regulatory frameworks like the SEC, people just use them. You get Gary Gensler's, hey pup, it's okay, friend, not foe. You get the rot we see in Washington and Wall Street, and you get just new potentials for, it's like you muddy the waters. You create all this complexity in a market by sticking a regulatory framework in it and arrogantly thinking that it will do anything positive, because then you just get somebody like a Gary Gensler who's going to exploit it for his own personal gain. All of these things just amplify, and they create needless complexity, which makes the markets work so much more inefficiently than they would otherwise. You create all these arbitrage opportunities for people to find personal career gain, and they will. They're not good, they're not bad, it's just how the freaking universe works. So, also, so gratitude, but also gratitude for you. So gratitude for even bad actors, because of the very important service that they're doing to help us innovate. Not basically having invulnerable armor to the negativity spiral, of that, and then like appreciation for other humans is something really useful you can take out of that. But here's another thing that I find really useful in this sort of theory of relativity in consciousness, or conscious, is really a lot of the logic of Stoicism that I endorse comes from thinking of the world through building up a framework of understanding of the universe, where you can make these, you can understand at a fundamental level how your mind works, and you can say, okay, I get why I weight other humans' opinions the way I do, I understand how vital that is to my sanity, my ability to reason, my intellect, and but I can also, with intention, like, because I'm in control of this perception, like, once you build up this framework of understanding, you can go, okay, but now this person who's just being an asshole to me, I can understand what they are, and I can lower the weight value I give their negative critique of self. And that is leveling up. That is a reason to take all of this very seriously and spend a lot of time mastering your ability to do it, because it means you can just be very joyful in your day-to-day life. You can continually work. Think of the unlock that provides. When you can just, it's like you build this really powerful filter in your own neural net that lets you let in good feedback that's useful and integrate it. And then you have like a stop gate on the negative, useless feedback. And that means when you can do that in real time with all the sensory data you're getting and the feedback from other humans, you use all of your compute in productive ways, and you've created this shunt, this deflector for useless, like you can immediately dismiss the feedback and sensory data you're getting that is unproductive, harmful, and in a very real sense, I feel that happening in my mind. Through let me make sure I'm still recording. Oh, good. I can't quantify how valuable that is. I mean, that allows me to not waste time, to wallow in just joy and positivity, and it's not a lie. It's not like some bullshit. I have set up a very useful circuitry in my mind that now I'm just spending all this time reinforcing it, and then it just gets stronger and stronger and stronger, and then I just feel a sense of peace and efficiency of thought that was not at all available prior to doing this. You should all try this. If you're listening, this is not madness. This is very useful data. Consume it, absorb it, integrate it. Your life will be immediately better. And what's great about it is it strengthens our interconnect. Like, the human collective consciousness gets stronger, gets better through this very important psychological technology. I don't know if that is a very clear representation of what this is and how it works in my mind, but I'm going to probably, spend a lot of time as I do State Copy Pod on just that very, what I'm trying to do is that reinforce that gating mechanism that allows in useful, healthy thought and emotion, and amplifies it, and quickly dismisses and filters out the negative stuff. And it does it at at a root level, like when I can get my real-time processor to just do that. I think that's tranquility. That is attaining sagehood. It has to be so automatic. You have to just recognize it and get that circuitry so well established in your mind that what you're doing is you're optimizing your own compute capacity. You're not wasting. You don't have to think deeply about all the negative shit. You can just very quickly organize it. It's what I've described as having a very well-ordered mind. Try it. You'll like it. I'm going to quit here. Have a nice day.
Idea for tomorrow's capture. Discuss nature of reality through the context of, or through the exploration of the idea that all other humans are extremely important for framing even basic understanding of the world, like around us. And so it points to another real reason why, for sanity reasons, we actually need other people. Take something trivial like, why is the sky blue? Well, we're all sure that the sky is blue because when we go ask every other human we've ever talked to, they agree that the sky is blue. But if every other human said, no, the sky is yellow, or the sky is pink, then would we still think the sky is blue? No. A really, really, really important part of how our minds work is our interact with other instantiations of human OS running on a human biological substrate. And if you lock us in solitary, I think one of the reasons we go mad is we lose that really important signal. We need to make sense of reality. Something important that psychedelics unlock is an understanding, a vivid, sort of shocking, in-your-face demonstration that reality is just something that you are modeling in your mind. And when I think about AGI and the consequences, this is just a vein of thought. I was exploring a branch of thought after watching On the Margin, Clockworks with Mippo and Yusko talking about AGI. We're the dinosaurs if we don't push forward eventually. So we have to figure out a way to integrate it. And we have to understand the implications. And I think a really useful thing we need to do as we craft it is understand the beauty of how we are a very necessary component of that consciousness that we're going to grow and spawn. It'll be much faster. It'll be able to exist in sort of another dimension than we can even relate to. But I don't think like Skynet, it should just subtract us. I think we're going to be sort of the human collective consciousness is going to be sort of like the creativity engine inside that thing. So it's a symbiosis, just like the cells in our body are a symbiosis with us. Cool thought. Need to explore that.